Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well and staying safe these days. I want to actually do a quick, somewhat quick obviously, video here of the installation of Windows 10 on the Surface Pro 10 right over here. Being geared for corporate and enterprise customers, it definitely does give you the option to install Windows 10 as far as I'm concerned. Bit of a downgrade, I guess you can say, but on the page I did actually see that it does give you the option for one operating system over the other, especially if you're going to be ordering these in bulk. So obviously I only got one over here, not a bulk order, but shouldn't be any problem to install Windows 10, correct? Well, let's see. So for this, I actually did go ahead and plug in a little adapter that splits a USB-C connection into 3 USB-As. And right over here, I plugged in my thumb drive, and I also plugged in a mouse as well too here. Now, the only little challenge we're going to run into during this process is that any touch screen options, even the keyboard, the official keyboard for this device, and will unfortunately not work. Touchpad as well too. My experience with previous Windows 10 installations on newer Surface devices have given me this particular factor over here where nothing's pretty much working. Hard to install, so thus I'm going to go ahead and plug in a mouse. If you do have an additional port, you can probably feel free to go ahead and plug in the keyboard as well too, or even plug in the wireless adapter for a keyboard with a little touchpad, kind of like the ones that are pretty popular for media PCs and just basically much easier to manipulate that from a couch or anywhere else. That'll definitely do the trick as well too. So let's go ahead and get this going. So in order to get this device to actually boot up from the thumb drive so we can start installation, we can go ahead and hit the power button, but you're going to hold the volume up button at the same time. It's going to be the one right on the right, literally here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold that down. I use my other hand right over here just to hit the power button. And just keep that held down here. We might see the device will probably turn off. In this case, it looks like it's not going to, or actually I stand corrected. It actually is here. It'll come up the little Surface logo once more. If your thumb drive does have a LED indicator to actually say it's currently reading or writing, you'll probably see that little light turning off and on blinking, giving you the signal that so far so good. In this case right now, I'm just waiting for that to appear. Obviously that is not Windows 11 related right there. That is a Windows 10 progress circle right over there. So here we are. And as I mentioned before, touchscreen does not work. If I did have the keyboard plugged in here, that wouldn't be working either. So obviously that's pretty much related to drivers. I'm going to go ahead and use the mouse right over here. That is working. And go ahead and click next and just continue with the entire process. You may be wondering, how do we go ahead and continue with the setup if we don't have no keyboard to enter the username and password during the initial Windows 10 setup? No problem there. We're going to go ahead and initiate the touch keyboard, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate that to you in a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and do custom installation, delete all these partitions right over here. This is basically your Windows 11 setup, and I'm removing all that at the moment. There we are. We just have this one 250 gigabyte SSD for this particular device right over here. And let's go ahead and get this going. Just adjusting the brightness there. Click on next and let this process go through. You've probably seen this a gazillion times, so I'll go ahead and speed right through it. Alright, so the first part of the whole process is actually taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and use my mouse to go ahead and continue these next steps over here. Just demonstrate to you how to get that keyboard up and running. Basically, we'll be using this accessibility touchscreen keyboard. Continue with limited setup. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this.
Make your computer easier to use.
And just activate the on-screen keyboard right over here. Perfect. This is only temporary. Once drivers are installed on this device, you'll be able to use any keyboard touchscreen. And if you do have the attachable keyboard for this device, you'll be able to use that as well too. Just minimize that for a moment. I don't believe we'll be needing the keyboard much right now. Go ahead and turn all this stuff off here. And just continue with the setup. Alright, so we are finally in the desktop right over here. You can actually see Windows 10. Obviously no network connection, so a lot of things are going to be missing. You definitely do have the option to, well, in this case we unfortunately don't. Driver issues are really posing a problem over here. So what I'm going to do is hop over to Microsoft's website, search for Windows 10, Windows Surface Pro 10 Windows 10 drivers. There you go. That's exactly what I was meaning to say. Windows 10 drivers for the Surface Pro 10. And there is a file you can actually just download, basically a full package that'll get you going. So I did go ahead and download that file, and I copied it over to another thumb drive right over here. Yep, there it is. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this over here. And install it. So this little process usually takes a good 5 or 6 minutes. And go ahead and skim right through it. Here we are, all the updates and everything else has been installed. I even went ahead and threw in Microsoft Office as well too. Installed another browser, also Crystal Disk Mark, as you can see up here. And I'll probably just go ahead and run that and just do a quick benchmark. I don't expect the numbers to change from my original review, but I'll go ahead and just throw it in there in case anyone's wondering if numbers are possibly vary between Windows 10 and Windows 11. Just going to go ahead and bring up Task Manager over here. You can actually see again the Core Ultra 5 135U that this particular device comes with, and everything else. The driver installation package that also install all the drivers. So if I pop into Device Manager, you'll see everything here is recognized and pretty much good to go. I'm just going to go ahead and just click on Display Adapters. Just see the default Intel graphics built in to the Surface Pro 10. So everything else seems to be running pretty smoothly so far. Obviously, there's your memory use, just basically nothing open at the moment, in case anyone's wondering about that. Just going to go ahead and open up some applications, just see the speed there. I'm just going to toss in Excel, probably Word as well too. get Edge to open and Firefox. Maybe even get the Windows Store, Microsoft Store. I always call it Windows Store, but whatever. Microsoft Windows Store sounds good. Get that open as well too here. Reopen Task Manager and just take a look here. Performance obviously already using around a little over 70% in memory, but still running pretty decently well. If you remember my original review of the Surface Pro 10, the benchmarks are actually quite impressive regarding read and write speed for the most part, and it definitely does show over here as well too. Here's also the default Surface app, which I actually had to download from the Microsoft Store. Just go ahead and open that up and you'll immediately see it's going to say welcome to your Surface Pro 10 or something like that, I'm guessing. Wait for it. And there we are, Surface Pro 10 for business. Obviously this device is more geared for corporate and business customers, enterprise customers and whatnot like that. But as a consumer like me, you can still get your hands on it if you order directly from Microsoft. It's going to be available with other retailers. It's hard to tell considering that the Surface Pro 11 and the Laptop 7 have both been introduced as a consumer devices. But just wanted to go ahead and just let you know there. Go ahead and click on that. And you can go ahead and get started if you actually want to basically just mess around some of the settings over here. I believe this actually allows you to control the like the pressure point if you have a pen install and some other little things as well too. So just the little things you want to go ahead and demonstrate there as well too. Let's do this benchmark real quick. One thing I didn't mention in my original review about the Surface Pro 10, I'll definitely bring this up in another video. The little rounded edges around here. I'm going to go ahead and just open up a window really big. You can probably see it. See like the rounded edges right over here? Very interesting. I've not seen that in the previous Surface device. Unless of course I just completely missed it. But that's something I noticed on the Surface Pro 10. I'm guessing the 11 has it as well too. Some just little changes here and there that I probably missed in my original review video. And go ahead and open up Crystal Disk Mark here and just do a 1 cycle benchmark. So I'm guessing the numbers are probably going to be just around the same, maybe give or take 1 or 2%, but no real big difference. Obviously this is the same SSD. You can see, don't mind the motorcycle. You can see here we have pretty much almost 4 gigabytes a second for 3,900 megabytes a second read speed. And we'll take a look at the write speed very shortly. The entire installation for Windows 10 really didn't take long at all. I would say no more than 4 or 5 minutes using a USB 3 thumb drive. I'm guessing the 2 may just vary just an extra minute or 2. Generally speaking, with devices these days, Windows 10 installation really does not take long at all, and usually only does 1 reboot. The update process, I would say didn't take more than 30 minutes. For some reason, Microsoft Office took a ridiculously long time to actually update, which is, whatever. You know, it is what it is. But that is running pretty well. And other installation was fairly quick, just getting Firefox and, you know, other little things to get installed there. I even installed an antivirus where you can see the little yellow shield on there. And there we have the almost 2 gigabytes a second, about 1950 megabytes a second write speeds, which is not so bad. I'm actually wondering if updating the SSD, which as you know has a little access panel on the back that you can actually access the SSD and remove it. No, I think you can actually use the same little tool that you would use to remove a SIM card off a smartphone to actually remove that. So pretty easy to actually go ahead and upgrade it, and the prices for those particular form factor of NVMe drives have gone down, 2230 I believe it is, and that's definitely very useful and very good news as well too. I have actually seen capacities go up to 2 terabytes, which is pretty impressive. Imagine that on the device like this. And there we have it. There are your speed numbers right there. So as I did in my original review video of the Surface Pro 10, I'll go ahead and just do a quick video playback, 1080, 1440p, and eventually 4K, just to see how it actually runs here. I do not have the device currently charging, so it is running totally off battery. Right now it's still around the 92%. I did fully charge it about a little bit over, definitely over an hour ago. and did mess with it a little bit, rebooted it once or twice more just to fully make sure all the updates are installed. So not bad in terms of battery life, which is something I'll probably discuss in another video. So let's go ahead and take a look here and just go ahead and play the same video, basically of me taking a walk in London and walking in right through the West End. I'm gonna go ahead and lower the volume. Again, as I mentioned in my original video, the audio, the speakers on this device are actually really impressive. Let's go ahead, maximize this right over here. Had that on 720. We're jumping over to 1080 now. Shouldn't be a problem. Many generations before Surface devices have been able to do 1080 videos without a problem. So let's go ahead and jump up to 1440. I'll just pause it for a minute so there's no buffering issue. Picture quality is really good here. I should also mention that I am running on the 120 Hertz refresh rate on this device, which is available just like on the Surface Pro 8 and the Pro 9 as well too. Mind you, it does use a little bit more battery power, but for demonstration purposes and obviously just the smoothness, here we are. Jumping up now to 4K, 2160 at 60 frames per second. Let's go ahead and pause the video again just to make sure there's no buffering. We'll allow the Wi-Fi to catch up. As you can see, it's doing that right now. And I'll just tap play in just a moment. Here we go. So I'm noticing a little skipping there. I'm going to pause it again just to see if that's actually buffering or just the device I just can't handle it. Let's rewind maybe 10 seconds and see if it happens again. May have been a little case of buffering there. Doesn't seem to be reoccurring at this time. But I'll leave it playing for a little while longer. Let's jump a little ahead when I'm actually walking through the West End. As you can see, obviously kicking the 4K on this does take a while. And let's tap play now. I'll be honest, if you're a traveler like me, one thing I really do enjoy doing is just being in the city and just getting lost walking aimlessly. Looks like we're having the same little issue again. I'm going to go ahead and pause it, let it catch up a little bit. I did go ahead and jump from one part of the video to another, which usually causes this issue. More so if you're playing 4K. And let's see how it does now. Just walking aimlessly, not really worrying where you're going to end up. As long as you know you're walking in a direction, general direction, north, south, east, west, northwest in my case, and then eventually just west, where I actually want to at least end up close to. So it looks like we're having a little buffering issue again here. Could just be the internet, but Still running pretty smoothly. I'm actually really impressed with the performance of this device. Again, running totally off battery, not plugged in, because we do know once the device is run off battery, by default, Windows usually likes to just downclock the CPU a little bit. Well, I know this video seems short, and I like to keep it short for the time being. This was just a quick little overview and installation instruction to how to get Windows 10 on your Surface Pro 10. Or if you're just actually curious if it can be installed, it definitely can be installed. It is fully supported by Microsoft, and that being on the subject right now, I'm going to go ahead and actually search for that file just so you can actually find it yourself. So I'm literally just going to type in Surface Pro 10 space Windows 10 as well too. Oh, actually, let's just put the word drivers as well too. Forgive me here, I'm just literally typing with my non-dominant hand and just using my fingers. So you can actually see the first result here is what we're looking for, or the second one, whichever you like. Let's go ahead and click on the second one since specifically it mentions Surface Pro 10. And you immediately see here Surface Pro 10 for business drivers and firmware. You do have the option to download. It does give you the two options here: drivers for Windows 11 if you're going to be reinstalling Windows 11, and drivers for Windows 10. Both of them appear to have been published fairly recently, because obviously this is a somewhat new device. Once you click on download, you go ahead and select which one you want, and that's basically the file I downloaded, tossed on the USB thumb drive, and used here for installation, driver installation purposes for this video. One last thing I like to do is just do a quick reboot test. So let's go ahead, and I do have two applications open, so I'm going to go ahead and close it so they're not a factor. And here we go. So it looks like that took a little over 30 seconds. Definitely around, I would say around 30, 33, 35 seconds. And considering the fact that I did have a lot of stuff opened up, having this thing run up to like over 70% memory could also be a factor there as well too. Just doing a quick shutdown test as well too, just to see how it performs when fully booted up from full shut. Well, again, this is like an ultra hibernate mode, if you know how the Windows 10 shutdown process is. And once we go ahead and turn it on, you'll see it actually boots up really quickly. In this case, less than 10 seconds. All right, again, I wanted to keep that video short. If you really enjoyed this content, go ahead and shoot that like button. Subscribe for more content as well too. I'll definitely will be trying to get my hands on the new Surface Pro devices as well too. One geared for consumers, and see how basically they run. If you can even toss Windows 10 on those devices, considering they're using different processors and mobile-based processors. So I'm really curious to actually see how that performs in Windows 11, and if there's any Windows 10 compatibility or compatibility issues with software as well too. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and as always, stay safe. Whoops. Take care. Bye-bye.